That's definitely what we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, chat.
Hi, chat.
Hi, Chad.
Hello, chat.
Hi.
We definitely weren't talking about, oh my god, clams and my breasts.
No.
Well, seafood mostly, just clams and
Steamers.
lobsters. Clams and lobsters.
I heard the word steamers a lot.
It was, but it was actual clams, steamers, not.
Were they moist clams?
They were very moist clams. Hi, Bubber. What's
Hi.
going on?
Hi, guys. It's good. How are you? I'm surprised to. I came into clams.
Well, I was in Boston, so.
Ordinary clams.
As you do.
Ordinary clams.
Yes.
As you lick your fingers for effect, I'm on board with this.
Oh man.
Oh, that's why he was bleeding.
Oh, and there's the picture person in general, so it's their fault.
Well, hi guys. It's been a little while, been a couple of weeks. Had a little bit of time off, but we're gonna swing back into this real strong. Happy to be back, and I'm happy to see most of your faces. Most of them. I'm looking at that Jared guy.
Yeah, let's gang up on.
Who's Jared?
Oh.
I agree. We should gang up on Jared today.
JDScientize?
Oh, JDScientize.
Hey, JDScientize.
Yeah, we've decided we're all usernames tonight. So, TheBubbernaut, how are you this evening?
Yeah, I'm hanging in there. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
How was your break? Your little vacation?
It was good for like the first 2 days, and then I quickly realized that I'm very much a social being, and I need people. I found myself at like day 3. It's like, 28 hours into Netflix. Is this what other people do?
Yes, and it's great. That's a welcome to being a introvert.
You're finding out why drugs are so popular, I see.
Yeah. It was a nice place, really nice place. I loved it. It was a studio. I've never been in a studio before, so it had all of like 3 walls outside of the normal stuff. And
did you like Old Boy yourself?
Wow.
Sort of. Yeah. I mean, it's not like I wanted to, but I like.
Hopefully.
I didn't want to leave a whole lot because the area that I stayed in was it wasn't quite up to. It was shady. It was a shady area. The house is beautiful. But the area was super shady, and I was just like, "Fuck! I'm just fucking staying in. I'm not gonna deal with that."
Stop talking about my neighborhood like that. I mean, it's not. I feel very attacked.
I think you just like described my entire life before stream.
Yeah. Were you in Cincinnati? Are you sure?
I was gonna say, are you in Lowell, Massachusetts?
Lab and a German Shepherd, and they just sit around my house. And the crackheads, oh, it's good.
Yeah, that's
the dogs are really fat.
And have a strange addiction to crack.
Yeah.
Hey, it's meth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
depends on what heads you're eating.
It was honestly though, like it was nice. I just I realized quickly that somebody else may have appreciated it more so, but I like being very goal oriented, and I like achieving things, and being away from the internet and everything else that I do. Well, it delivered on what their intentions were, but I was ready to come home. I was ready to get back to the grind.
I love you, Bub, because as soon as I found out you were disconnecting yourself, I went, I don't think I'd have fun with that, but to each their own. You come back and go, it was scary.
Yeah, it was just not as enjoyable as I thought it might be. Next time I go somewhere, it's gonna be with people, guaranteed.
The more you know.
That's big. If you're traveling, because otherwise I feel like it just ends up being like stressful, and you get all up in your own head. But that being said, it's also maybe for the better, because one time I took a hiatus that I really enjoyed, and I just didn't come back. So
I know
it can go both ways.
Go to Seattle looking for you, and you're not there.
No,
I'm not gonna lie, half the time I take a break. I'm like, do I want to come back? And then I'm like, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's that struggle. Do we?
Yeah.
Oof. There's some seriousness
Something
in that. I
visible.
can see it. Everyone's like, yeah, we're smiling because there is. It's a bitter truth.
Well, I always think I want to take a break, and then, like you said, I'll be like, I'm taking a break. Like 20 minutes in, I'm like, can I just go? Yeah, I'm gonna just go back and do it.
I'm in the middle of a break right now. You guys got to stop doing this to me. It's only day 2.
JDScientize, you're okay. You'll be all right.
No wonder you're so testy about your handle.
To be fair, you just put in like every day, right, for a month. And...
Right, like 57-hour streams.
Were you about to comment?
Metro games without standing up was the fucking worst.
Oh
no! The whole fucking title versus name thing feels like you're at a restaurant and you're trying to order something, and you know the bartender, you're like, Steve, and he goes, 1 second, patron, I'll get to you, and you're like, bro, I just want to go home and cry.
Well, I mean,
Again?
Yeah, at least twice a day.
Different than any other night.
Oh, because then I'm not crying in front of other people. I don't get paid for it.
No, good call. Well, I mean, at PAX 2, it went full Avengers. Like, oh, are we using our made up names now? Like 100%, like half the time. Like dinner. There's one dinner. Everybody introduce themselves as their friggin' handle. I'm like, I give a shit what you stream. Who are you as a person that does not exist on the internet?
I feel very targeted.
I would always go in between because I can't keep that many names in my head. And if I remember your real name or your tag, consider yourself lucky because that's better than 75% of other people.
It depends on how close you are to me, to be realistic. If I've known somebody for a while, I will switch to using their real name over time as the sign of friendship that I think I can get away with it now.
And sometimes I agree. I only call people by their first name if I really like them, JDScientize.
I fucking hate you, Dickapus.
JD, how about
that's not my tag?
Does JD kind of
different website?
Oh, hey, don't call him out on Chatterbait. We're not doing that tonight.
Yeah, no outing me.
Monka TOS. Good lord.
Rails? Where we're going, we don't need rails.
That's right. That's right. I get called Bub though, pretty much by everyone except for my wife. And well, I guess technically,
we were just talking about this. Your wife calls you David when you're in trouble, but otherwise everybody calls you Bub, and I get yelled at by your community for calling you David.
Yeah,
they go, you need to fucking stop.
Even my mom and dad,
like
my everybody in my family calls me Bub. The only it's literally just Jared, Leslie, and Lacey. I mean, like intimately. Bub is not one of those names that just sounds good.
It doesn't come out in sex?
No.
I was just gonna say, how do I ask that nicely? Like,
no,
Garrett, that's sir. You get a
Sir Bub.
No, not Sir Bub.
You don't put it together.
Yes, that's what they say. Mid coitus.
Normal conversation.
Oh, Papa Bubbers. That's me.
Oh,
hey, Pappy.
Bub.
Oh, Sir Daddy Bub. That's it. That's the one.
Sir Daddy Bub. Got it. Nice.
I spent too much time with Panda, man.
All right.
So, let's do the best that we can to sort of recap the last time we were together.
My hands
I got a
fucked up.
sparkly eye, and
I'm slow as shit. Thanks.
I can tell what you immediately remembered, which is not very good things.
I remember a horde of stabby little dolls.
We got
or
shield made of bugs.
We got gold that Ryu was like, I want to keep this. I'm like, nah, you good.
In front of all of us. I'm just gonna pocket this.
There was an attempt.
Yeah,
we gotta respect the attempt.
It's true. Yeah. It was your first true delve into the dungeon lifestyle, right? Like you guys just hopped into the tomb, and you got past the entrance, which we found ourselves going through a bit of a trap situation. The hallway was not ideal for most of you, admittedly. You were like, yeah, let's just let Neferani go forward. That's fine. She didn't trigger anything, but the moment anyone with any substantial weight behind them stepped down, that's when said trap triggered, which kind of sprung you guys forward onto a slew of events. Now, if we can go back here, let's take a look. I know that you guys are working with the lighting, so let's pull your tokens down. Let's kind of go back and see what you guys can recall about the events here.
There was a room with a dead guy, then a hallway with a trap and some pictures, and then a room with dead cats, and then a chariot.
Yeah.
No cherries. They didn't give us any cherries.
Not this time.
Guys who tried to hack at me, and I stepped on one.
You did. You held him down like a cat would at that. Just paw down, letting him wiggle. And I didn't realize how fitting that actually was until just this moment when you literally pulled it apart, like a small press. Oh, that's It's good. It's fitting for the character. It's good. Slightly morbid, but good. What did you find when you pulled these warrior dolls apart?
Sadness.
Mostly.
We found remains of what we thought could have been like the old soldiers that were in his trusted care.
Something like that, yeah. That was your best guess. What were they standing on exactly?
Important documents of war-like things.
Okay, all right. That's yes. What was it actually like depicting though? When you first kind of glanced at it, what were you seeing?
Buildings and a tiny battle strategy.
Yeah, they were literally like reinventing an entire combat scenario before you. And this is, I don't think everybody's going to get this, but I'm going to go ahead and hyper zoom in here to see if anybody can recognize this. I tossed this in as like a small Easter egg, but this little map here, this map is actually a map from my Thursday game.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's the prison that my current Thursday game is going through. So I tossed it in as like a little Easter egg.
Does that mean we get to meet them?
I mean, technically, yeah, it's feasibly there an opportunity, but you would have to go all the way over to the other part of Galarian.
So they're already dead.
I don't want to talk about that much. It's not looking good right now. If I can just be real, it's not looking super good. But it's not for lack of trying. They just
if we try to cross the sorry.
No, go ahead. Go right ahead.
I was gonna say, if we try to cross the globe at level 2, we are probably gonna be the next ones dead. Just saying.
Small price to pay for exploration.
Could we take an Uber or something?
Take an Uber.
I wish.
The boat's just gonna roll right up.
Well, let me check my Raven. They're charging too much gold for that shit.
Thank you so much, Fioris, for subbing MVG Ranston, Sorrel, Blue Bomber, and Heaven Wrath. That's your guys' first luck reroll for the night. Right on.
Aw, shit, not boiled.
Appreciate that, buddy.
Yeah. All right.
Instead of lift, it would be old lift with an E at the end.
Ye old lift.
Ye old lift, yeah.
It's good stuff. Very good stuff. Okay, do you think this is what you wanted to find? Like, was this what you were kind of sent here to find, or were there other things?
Well, I looked really closely at it, and then I lost most of an eye.
Right.
It was probably at least partially what we came here to find, because they were looking for battle plans.
But you found the rest of the battle plans. At the cost of your hand.
I don't want to talk about
I
that.
found them.
Are any like we're just the one battle and we're all effed.
I think I'm good.
Well,
I hit my head on the way down. That was cool.
I'm most of the way unfucked.
Who is missing HP?
I'm missing a little bit still.
I'm mixing my maximum HP. Does that count?
Leaking.
You're missing your maximum?
Yep.
So you're unconscious right now?
No, he took con damage.
Yeah, he took con damage.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, that's only temporary, so long as you manage to weather the storm of physical ailment that attaches itself to it. Yeah.
Yeah, like half my hand.
Oh shit! No. Right, I forgot we had 2 hand-based issues.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. So you found this here. Let's. I'm gonna kind of take this music off. It's distracting me a little bit. You found this right here. I'm gonna ping it. And this is a chest. This particular chest, it had some things inside of it. Outside of the fact that it was immediately trapped, what were you able to locate inside?
Hold on, let me see.
I actually don't remember what we found inside. I know we found tomes, giant tomes that Pilakka read.
Books. You found potions or something?
Let's see.
Battle strategies and potions.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
I think I wrote it down.
You just drank one. You were like, Pilakka gave it to me. Yay!
Well, it must be fine if the crazy bird lady gave it to you, right?
You didn't even say what it was.
Oh, yeah, that was the potion of dark vision, right? That was in that one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Neferani is currently cursed. We all have a lot of problems.
Hey, I'm just slow. I'm normally very fast and hyper, so I think now I'm just normal. Right?
You still can't put the ball down.
That's what I'm going
Right
with.
yet.
Pretty close to that. Pretty close. You were able to acquire 2 potions, one of which, best guess from immediately imbibing it, was a potion of dark vision. And do we have any idea what the other was? Actually, technically, you found 3 potions.
Yeah, it was 3.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the Cure Moderate, or did I get that somewhere else?
I think the Cure Moderate came from chat.
Yes,
Okay.
It did.
Thanks, chat. Then I failed to note this one, so I don't remember.
Okay, so it was the potion of dark vision, and there were 2 that were similar in their construction. I think they were.
I
Down.
thought they were healing potions.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys did
Well, I
figure
thought-
out that they were cure light potions.
Yeah, I have 1 cure light potion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have noted that. I've lost track of all the potions.
It's easy, but you definitely gonna need them. You know, you're definitely gonna need them.
Yeah. I'm just not sure. These might have gotten distributed to everybody. I'm not sure. I might have just marked it as a 2. I currently have 2 Cure Light Wounds potions, in addition to a 3rd Cure Light Wounds potion that only works on me and Neferani,
Yes.
and a Cure Moderate. So
It will work on the others. It's just not going to be as potent.
right.
Okay. You found a few of other things as well. There were a couple of chests, some equipment that was hanging into what looked to be some kind of like passive station. What were these things? What all did you guys find?
I found a new Kopesh that's kind of pretty, and a shield that looks like a bug that's very pretty.
You're right. You did.
Found a whole bunch of paperwork.
Yeah.
What was
They're
this
like just
paperwork
old-
exactly?
Wasn't there
Old
two
documents.
scroll?
They were basically like almost like a journal, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I have written down memos, speeches, and ledgers that we found in one of the chests. The
Yes,
small-
private memos, expense ledgers, speeches, private correspondences, various papers discussing regarding. There's even regarding an unfinished tomb for Akentepe's mistress. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Of all people, the mistress. Okay.
Hey, well, you know.
You also found a clay urn, right?
Urn of perfume.
Yeah,
Yeah, perfume.
Yeah, that's right.
Wasn't it a huge thing of perfume?
it's pretty large urn. Yeah, of perfume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that we were gonna sell. You said it was worth like so much per small vial or whatever.
Yeah, you could definitely find someone to pick that up. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else here. Oh yeah, you did say that you found the sword and the shield.
I think I'm currently carrying the urn because we said that it was easy. It wasn't heavy. It's just large.
Yeah, easily fractured, but not very heavy. All right. So, likely at any point, anyone that would, I'm guessing that you would because you guys have been doing it almost all the way through up to this point. That shield is actually going to be magical. It is going to have magical
very
properties. Every room that you guys have gone to thus far, someone's been like, detect magic. So it's only a matter of time before this is discovered. So I want to go ahead and knock this out now if we can. If you are capable of determining what its magical properties are, courtesy of a spellcraft, anybody that can make that check, I'll give you the opportunity to.
I wonder who would be good for that.
Turns out you're not the only genius.
Pilakka's gonna do it. Oh my goodness.
Actually, you needed a 25.
Oh.
Not even lying. You needed a 25 to determine this.
He got twice. So
Pilakka's gonna do one of those things where like her googly eye suddenly snaps to the shield, and then like it kind of drags the rest of her head, and then her body turns after it, and like loud cracks with each movement. Wow.
So I'm going to give you the details of this particular
you know you're
item.
not an owl, right?
Are you sure about that?
She goes, "Ooh."
Of course she would.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So this particular shield, you can describe this to Abasi if you'd like to, Pilakka, but it says that this is a +1 light steel shield. It is fashioned in the shape of a scarab beetle, a creature that functions as a psychopomp for Pharasma, guiding the souls of the departed into the afterlife. Scarab shields are especially favored by archaeologists and tomb raiders for the protection that they grant against guardians and vermin frequently found in ancient ruins and forgotten tombs. Once per day, on command, the shield grants its wielder a +2 sacred bonus on saving throws against fear and death effects for 3 minutes. At any time while this bonus is in effect, the wielder can end it as a swift action for a burst of healing energy. The wielder loses the saving throw bonus, but is healed 1d8 plus 3 points of damage. In addition,
Wow.
the Scarab Shield can protect its wielder from swarms. If a mindless swarm attempts to enter the wielder's space, the swarm must attempt a DC 11 will save. If this succeeds, the swarm may enter the wielder's space and attack the wielder normally. If it fails, they instinctively avoid the space occupied by the wielder, completely ignoring the wielder for 3 rounds. This effect ends if the wielder makes any kind of physical attack, but the wielder may use non-attack spells or otherwise act without ending the effect. This functions once a day.
Wow.
It's pretty strong.
I'm not going to repeat all that, but you got that, right? Abasi, person who's obviously going to wield this shield. I mean, I assume.
Yeah, I wouldn't want it. Like, I feel like that would be kind of comical, but not in character.
It'd be kind of hilarious if like Mr. Scarab Hide over here just comes up. He's like, the shield of my people, and then somebody's like, give it to the bard.
Give it to the bard. Just hand it to the bard. You don't need a shield anymore.
She's like, I can't play bongos with this on.
Oh my god, it is a bongo.
Well, no, I could always put it on my back.
That's true, yeah.
Good.
And then I'd look like a turtle cat playing the
Turtle cat. That's new.
Okay, wait a minute. Maybe I want the shield.
So this thing confers a +2 sacred bonus to fear and death saves.
Yeah, for 3 minutes.
Holy shit! For 3 minutes. Okay,
It's pretty strong.
Or
How many turns is 3 minutes?
Well, it's
A lot.
a
A
round.
lot.
A turn is 6 seconds, so there are 10 rounds. So
God.
30 rounds. There's like you're talking, like that's full on
That's a large encounter.
war, right?
Yeah.
Like you're talking like a
that's-
major event.
Right.
yeah, I don't think I've ever been in a fight that's been 30 rounds
No,
long.
no.
I mean,
No.
it blocks against death
Like
and
a
fear,
marathon.
or you can
I've
eat
even been
that
awake for
bonus
30 rounds.
Yeah,
to
you can
heal
right.
for 1d8 plus 3.
Yep, you could drop the effect
Right.
for 1d8 plus 3, which is super helpful.
Isn't that
And then
big?
there's the protection from swarms thing.
Yes,
That's sick.
Can
So
we
it-
all hide behind it?
negative. Unless you were a small sized person. If you were small size, you can occupy the same square as a medium sized creature.
Okay.
That said, somebody with a shield can also do what shields are for and stand in a choke point.
Yes, this is very true. It's very true. So, you now know what this is. Go ahead and add 1 to your AC for this. Whatever. I mean, it's a light steel shield, so let's. take
Yeah, and I had a heavy
take
steel
look.
shield before, so because this is a +1, I'm basically at the same margin. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to treat it as +1, or
No,
in this case, a normal,
Yeah.
what you already have. All right.
That's
So-
crazy.
I'm going to put you back into it. The floor is essentially going to go right back onto you. Each of you have collected these items. You know why you're here. You know what you're looking for. And you're mostly fine.
Is the other Kopech the same stats? It's just prettier?
It's masterwork, so it's going to give you +1 to hit, but not damage.
Okay. I will see if I can figure out how to edit that onto it while you're doing stuff.
First thing, Pilakka would like to wordlessly hobble off into back through the previous rooms into the first one, and then just reach her hand through the door and cast Detect Magic. Because I don't trust any of you.
Yo, Pilakka booked it.
Yes.
Wait, what are you casting Detect Magic on?
The room, the empty room with the dead body.
Oh, okay. And
But
you're
at the
just hoping
entrance?
to
Yes.
determine if something was like left there per se.
Yeah, she's more like just poking in the dark, let's say.
Okay, sure. When you peer back through, you cast Detect Magic, and your vision
Yeah.
begins to pale, and there's nothing inside of the room itself. Nothing was
Okay.
left. No traps were set. Nothing of that sort.
Okay. Then she just ends the spell and just kind of looks around. I'm testing for wild magic.
I know you are.
Before I heal anybody.
I I definitely know you are. So far, I think people are going to be saving them for the latter half of the month.
Oh God, I hope
Donkor
so.
is going to go back into the room that led right before the chariot and the trap room, with the now still closed door.
Oh, we actually have one put in right now from someone in chat. Courier is going to add 2 potions. One of lesser restoration. Wait, what is... Oh. Oh. Okay. All right. That's a thing. All right.
What we get?
Okay. I read it 3 times and I misread it every time until just now.
Well, then.
So
there.
those potions of lesser restoration will be found in a bit. Not immediately.
Okay.
It's not something that's going to be gifted to the players.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Okay. So once Courier does that, I'm not sure if Courier... Oh, there it is. It's right above. They'll be hidden somewhere in the dungeon. You guys will be able to find them. That's going to be huge because that will take away your con damage, which is great. It rolls a d4, and it can heal up to that many in constitution damage, which I know that you have at least 3, right?
I have 4, I think, actually.
Okay. Yeah, it can remove up to that amount.
Is there anything
Yeah,
I have to
I have
click
4.
on to make an item masterwork for the sake of, rolling when I click it?
Let's take a look at your character sheet, Abasi. We have here...
Use
Wow.
blacksmith hammer on computer monitor.
Wow. Shuwu. Menasha, Tired Ewok, Imperialgrrl, Cannonfod, Professor Owen, Bustifer, Emmett, Pikimon, Nazarene, and Art of the Apocalypse. You were all just gift subbed. That's 2 luck rerolls.
Oh, goodness.
Well, thank you. I didn't even know I was no longer sub, so thank you for the reminder.
Thank you so very much, Shuwu. That's very kind of you. Let's see. So for your weapon, it's Kopesh. What we're going to do is add in +1 right there.
Okay. I wasn't sure where I added things in to not fuck the weapon up.
And
But attack
now
is
it's-
hit and then damage is damage. That makes sense.
correct. Yes.
Pilakka's gonna sit down in the corner, kind of behind the little chariot or the big chariot, and just start making tea.
Okay.
Just stop making tea.
From where you are, that's not that far from your current sigil that you've cast. You've made this circular sigil on the ground, like a pentagram of sorts, but for your own fenestrations. And this is where you put the soldier, right? Like the small warrior doll?
Yeah, I believe I divined what kind of spell brought him to life.
Okay.
Or created him.
Yeah. And you saw exactly what?
If I recall correctly, it was just like a kind of a standard, like almost like creating a flesh golem, but on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
Could we remember that wrong?
Yeah, it was like minor necromancy, essentially.
Right. Okay. Right.
Okay. Well, we have at least one other person here. What's going on with Donkor? What you got going on down here?
Donkor's just looking around right now because now he's still reeling into the first actual combat that he's had in quite some time.
Okay. Well,
So he's just taking it all in.
this is for you then. This is for each of you. Talk, discuss whatever you need to. Yeah, it's yours. Floor is open.
All right, then now the bird is there making tea. And meanwhile, what's our next course of action?
Is anyone injured?
He's injured. I can see.
She beckons to Donkor and holds a wrinkled hand out.
I mean, I don't know what... Injured, yeah, but I'm not sure you can cure what ails me at this moment. Donkor will move closer to Pilakka and then kind of hold his hand out very gently.
Okay.
Pilakka, give me a perception.
Sure. Sorry, my character sheet's always so slow.
It's all right. Not a problem.
We could deal with you being slow, bud.
Ooh, that's a rough one.
Okay. Which is fairly normal, right? Like you only have strong access of one eye. The other has suffered over the years. What are you trying to do now that he's like offered you his hand? What are you trying to gain from this?
I want to try to ascertain like what got him.
Okay.
What the nature of the poison is. I think she saw the trap get triggered, so she knows what happened. But
give me a heal check, please.
Sure. Better.
You focus on the nature of the wound itself. It was substantial in its effect, and you kind of just follow it up the arm to see what kind of effect it has. You notice that he's got a bit of a raspiness to his breathing that wasn't quite there prior. There are veins that are dark around the damaged part of the hand. It's a poison, you are without doubt, and it's likely striking his fortitude. It's bringing down. He's not as hardy as he once was. You don't really know if this is going to be excessively lingering based on your roll, but you think that the damage has been done for the time being.
All right. A basic poison. It should run its course soon enough. If you feel any worse or start to die, make sure you let me know.
Well, trust me, I think if I start to die, you'll be the first to say, "Oh, I'm dying. Help me."
Very well. I'll be on the lookout. And she's probably like turned it over like very not carefully, and then just kind of like throws your arm away.
Okay, then thank you for taking a look at my hand, you crazy bird.
Anyone else?
I would like some tea. I mean, I'm not really hurt, but hi, and I'm just gonna sit down next to Pilakka and like.
She
Neferani
kind of like crowds the tea.
When you find yourself moving over to Pilakka, you gain the sense that there is this force of burden that is now kind of pulling you, borderline anchoring you, and you notice that you're not quite as nimble as you once were on your feet.
So I'm gonna get and sit down next to the bird and wait to see if she gives me tea before I do anything.
She does not.
The tea is the most important part right now.
Oh, hell yeah. So, but I'm just gonna. So you're not gonna give me tea? All right, that's fine.
No, Pilakka doesn't share specifically the tea.
Jesus, Joey.
Pilakka just kind of like eyes the cup and then shoots an eye to Neferani and then back to the cup and then Neferani.
I feel like playing the theme song to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
She then pours a single serving. All that's in the cauldron once it's finished brewing. It's like just a single cup into her own pewter cup, and then just like continues to stare.
That's something. Okay. You'll be my friend someday.
Apologies. I do not mean to be rude. It is a personal favorite and quite rare these parts. Perhaps some cheaper brew from town would do.
So you're saying if I brought my own tea, you would make it and we could share tea then?
We could both have tea.
I'll take it. However, additionally, I'm feeling kind of, I don't know, like I didn't sleep well, but it only started after that dude, like something over there, and I'm slow. Like I can't run. I don't feel like
I think it has something to do with probably. You remember that stone you tried, throwing down the table and
really
it appeared in your hand again? Yeah, it was,
I'm gonna try to hand it to the bird.
Pilakka kind of bemused.
Wait. Let's double check something I would do. Yeah, I'm gonna try to hand it to the bird.
Your wisdom's that low.
It's 10. Here.
Okay.
It's really cool, but I can't watch. Watch what happens, and I'm gonna like offer it to the bird.
The kind of bemused Pilakka, are kind of already knowing what's going to happen, holds her hand out. As I expected. And then she, all of a sudden, the googly eye fully opens and kind of like bobbles all around and then snaps onto the stone. And I'm going to cast Detect Magic.
I feel like we've done this before.
In the stone.
Oh, actually, have we already? I think we have.
Abasi's just standing in the corner going, is it supposed to be bleeding constantly like that?
You guys did.
I, the one he fixed, probably.
I fixed your eye already.
I'm still wounded.
Yeah.
Oh, is there a different color too?
Yeah.
It's broken, but it works.
It's like he's got like a Rick and Morty eye now.
It's like when you break a rim on your car and it's just some random rim that they have at the shop.
It works. It just doesn't look good. Stop staring.
Some ghetto spinner on it.
Right. There's technically 4 rims on the car.
Yeah, you should be glad. You should be glad you still have depth perception, buddy.
One of them's just an old spinner.
While they're doing all that, Xanjafar sits on the chariot and then just pulls out this really expensive small thing of wine and just corks it open and just kind of does the popcorn except with wine instead.
So you're splashing it in with your fingertips.
Very good. Okay.
Now, who's the raccoon, I wonder?
Abasi, you see these events taking hold at this point. You see the Neferani has moved over to Pilakka. It seems as if they're having this banter about tea. All the while, you worked up a bit of sweat in this combat. This was no light feat for you. You were lethally struck in the eye.
I body slammed some kid's doll into oblivion.
And he took out your eyeball.
That sounds like regular adventures with me.
I'm worried.
Fuck my eye! Die, Susie, die!
Previously with JDScientize, fuck my arm.
But last session, you guys were able to repair the eye, correct? We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is working perfectly to what it should work as, but according to Blacklight, it is like a swirling mass of like broken silver.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It bleeds into the iris, or it bleeds into the.
Like it's broken.
Yeah.
The pupil,
like to look at.
It's got kind of like a starburst effect. The pupil kind of radiates into the iris.
Okay. All
I should ask my wife what that's called. Hold on, I'll show you what it looks like.
Yeah, the colored part.
Fight me. You're so adorable. Don't fight me.
Like
a torn iris.
Yeah, hold on, let me link it in chat.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like that.
Reddit, what the fuck?
My wife is an optician, so she does all the eye stuff.
So kind of like that, but the pupil kind of splays out in all directions.
I cannot
can't look away.
I've seen someone like with the face.
Yeah, sometimes it's not as bad. Sometimes it's like this one.
No.
This one's not bad. This one's not gross, I promise. This one's kind of like a I don't know, it's cool looking. It's not as bad.
Oh,
that's a bit cooler.
Yeah.
Except that actually looks like an embryo.
Worse. I think it's worse too.
This guy tried to draw an anime eye inside his own eye.
Like, and I don't like those. What's that eye from the
Senpai, please.
Oh, yeah. And that vein doesn't look. That looks like I don't know. I feel like if that reaches the center, the Antichrist gets born.
I tell you, it looks like an embryo. I've seen this episode of South Park. I know how it ends. There's Santa.
I'm mostly disturbed by that.
I'm sorry. I don't know. She shows me this stuff all the time.
Wow.
And I'm just like, I'm numb.
You're
normal now.
desensitized.
Yeah, I'm desensitized 100%.
Are you JD sensitized?
I'll fucking kill you. I swear to God, I will.
I wish my soundboard works.
Oh man, JD sensitized.
You know, Nick.
I was like, I can't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Here's the anime version.
All I was gonna say, Nick, is that I have lots of experience with tracking other human beings through the woods.
Oh, what the fuck?
Okay, Liam Neeson over there.
Yeah, are you Liam Neeson me right now?
Particular set of skills.
The skills to murder.
It's too good. Oh, I'm still kind of distraught by the eye. That's.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But you know, it's okay. I was educated today. I didn't know that could happen. So yeah.
I didn't want to know.
Well, knowing's half the
Abasi
battle.
knew.
No.
Abasi knew.
Pork chop sandwiches.
Pork, yes, G.I. Joe.
Thank you for understanding that reference.
Pork chop sandwiches. Yeah, I love it.
I missed that.
Oh my gosh.
Can we count this as a rest? Can we kind of buckle down? And, I'm pretty much out of spells.
Technically, if you guys wanted to, you could hold up here. Just know that a full rest, in order for you to retain your spells, you are going to have to rest 8 hours.
Right. Are we on any kind of time crunch here?
Well, technically, if you don't return within a week, they'll likely assume you died, and someone else will get permission.
A week.
We have the time to chill for a while.
Airbnb for the next 3 days. It's fun.
But I want you to remember that there was like 3 times the number of people required to come into the necropolis waiting outside of the necropolis, awkwardly armed to the teeth.
Yeah, not wrong.
So I feel like there's no guarantee that somebody doesn't
Fucking kill us
for stand anyway. Yeah.
Like, how tired is tired? Like, are we exhausted? Like, I feel like regardless of my slowness, that I should be able to just like.
You'll be able to push on.
Yeah.
The others, that have blown all of their spells, I think Pilakka is pretty much running on empty at this point outside of your horizons. Your zero level spells.
Not only am I old and easily tired, but I'm also a caster, which means I have to rest more often or I'm useless. I do have some hexes left, but the way that my healing hex works is I can heal each of you every 24 hours, and I think 2 of you have already healed within this 24 hours. So it's up to you guys. I can keep going, but it's going to be. I mean, I'm just not.
If you want to make something like that happen, then what would Pilakka do in the situation? Do you just like shut her up shop and just lay down? Like, do you break out the camping equipment?
Would just be like, all right, I'm going to bed.
She plops down on the ground and she makes tea and she rejuvenates herself. And while it's brewing and as she drinks it, she's probably maybe even sitting within her own spell circle. Maybe she repurposed the one from earlier with a couple of corrective glyphs. But she's kind of directly channeling the energy from the ground, which is kind of from the earth.
So
yeah, kind of.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Buy my $10,000 shirts. Why can't everybody afford these?
She grounds herself with the earth.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm just gonna whatever Pilakka's doing right now. I'm gonna be doing that next to as close to the bird as the bird will allow me. Like if she's sitting like cross, I don't know, legged, like with her little leg. I'm gonna do the same
probably hard to tell.
And even since I don't have any tea, I'm just gonna drink like some water.
Is that a cat or a parrot? I'm sorry, I'm like completely distracted.
I think Donkor is just gonna like lean up against the wall, take a water skin, and start drinking out of it.
So it sounds like everybody's trying to go into a bit of a rest.
Just like a break.
Before this goes down, I'm going to like. Are the walls completely solid, or are there like breaks where you can see the stones put together? Like, are there any creases?
I mean, there technically are creases, but if you were to attempt to separate them any further, you realize that you're about 60 feet below the surface. You could bring that much weight down upon you.
Right, but I wanted to perceive like if they were intact, like if there was any. Can I do a perception check to see if like they're not in risk of falling down within the next 8 hours and crushing all of us?
I mean, yeah, like you can't, if you have knowledge engineering, if you have access to knowledge engineering, then you can take that guess.
What about dungeon engineering or
dungeoneering? Not this time.
Not this time.
Not this time.
Okay.
If you're worried about the structural integrity of this place, you guys have. I mean, this has been here for over 1,000 years.
So if it's holding now, it would continue to hold. Okay.
Likely to believe, yeah. Unless, of course,
Probably.
Pilakka does something bizarre, or Abasi goes on a tangent and explodes. If he were to shake the environment, courtesy of his ability to combust, then maybe it might change things, but kind of
Just saying, wild magic could always explode all of us and kill us instantly.
I will say right now, there is no wild magic in this game. Not yet.
If you guys are resting,
it's happened to me twice.
I'm going to disassemble
this session.
fucking chariot.
Nobody's given me any wild
I'm
magic.
sleeping on the chariot.
No! No, you're coming with me. I'm going to drag you to a different room.
So comfortable. It's like a luxurious chariot, right? Like this is like a pharaoh's chariot, right? So it's gonna be padded.
It is definitely it's slightly padded. Remember, like it was a war chariot, so
Right.
it wasn't exactly like Gucci lined, right? It's not got velour pads for you to stand on. It's still battle ready, but there is probably an area that you can
No
lean into.
subwoofers or anything like that.
No, not this time.
Was not pimped.
But
this
the
time.
spinners.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they don't stop. They don't stop. The moment you hit it, just kind of keep going.
Okay.
Well, so are we kind of like short resting here, or Block is either way gonna like keep an eye on like toward the entrance,
Okay.
as she rests, since there's really only one entrance.
Well, you remember you guys can shut the door.
Oh, that's
And-
right. We opened the door.
If you don't need to rest, you can take watch. Generally, someone does take watch.
Well, I was just going to take my time to disassemble the chariot, among other things in this room, and move all that crap over to here.
Okay.
We will eventually have to cart it all out for money.
That would make us rich if we could get it out. It's true. Give me a couple levels down here, and I could maybe float it out or something. I can't do it right now.
Well, I mean, I figure we're pretty much broke because we had to fork out most of our money in order to pay for
You
our
have
hotel
two-
room for
You
forever.
have 2 whole bags of gold coin on you right
I
now.
was gonna say we just made like
You
we
guys
found
found
a bunch of stuff
You
in
guys
this
found
room.
a lot of money. Yeah,
And
you
the
guys found a fair amount.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I know.
presumably
It's like winning the lottery and being like, but these thousands of dollars around me, I'll leave them.
Well, I mean, presumably, based and please correct me if I'm wrong, we have enough of what seems to be war documents that we could technically turn tail, depart, and give this to the consortium as what we were supposed to find, in addition to giving some to the Pook.
We're gonna burn alive.
Who I will find a way to kill.
Right. Well, yes. Well, that comes later. But like enough that we could be like, sure, here's the important war documents. That he would be like, oh, I'm amazing, and then not actually have given him anything cool. But like, I feel like at this point we found, the initial like first. Like, am I wrong about that? Like, do I feel like
We could leave this room and fulfill all of our current contracts and obligations
Okay,
with
I'm not
just
saying
what we've already done.
I'm saying? Do we feel like we have, or do we feel like we've found some?
I
think
feel
if
we
I were-
found 2 different things that fit the bill for what we need.
I think
But
if I were thinking about this in, like, let's say, Donkor's idea, he'd look at Abasi and be like, "Why? How are we gonna get this out right now? Why are you doing this?"
well, you guys are taking a nap. I assume. Oh, fuck it, we'll go in character. Yeah, they both know that bird's not going to move for hours. Look at him, he's already sitting up a little nasty. I'm done here. I'm just going to take as much as I can and move it out. Because quite frankly, well, I do love the lot of you. My dad's still trying to get me killed with a big fancy bounty on my head. So I figure if I start making you a little bit of coin on the side, you won't kill me long enough to fulfill my own duties.
So, I'm gonna raise my hand when he says that.
Yes, adorable cat lady over there by the bird.
Thank you. That is very sweet. So look, my little friend, if you leave right now, I don't like that. Who's going to protect you? No, don't say you. Don't say you, because we all know, we've known you long enough. It's been like whole days that's not going to really happen.
I'm only taking it 2 rooms over.
Oh. Well, you made it sound like you were leaving. I don't know.
I'm gonna put it under the hole. I'm not gonna be able to get it out of the hole alone. A lot of you are gonna have to help me, assuming you want to be rich.
So
I mean,
wait.
realistically, you're carrying 2 whole bags of gold and probably a ton of other things that we just received out of this room, and you still want more, knowing that we can't get this out of the room right now. I don't think that's quite smart.
And if you put this all like at the bottom of that hole, right? Like just because our new friend fell down it doesn't mean that other people won't be more adept at climbing. Sorry, it's true. But
I caught myself.
You did, and I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of you. But like what happens if you like pile all of our good stuff at the bottom of this hole and another group is like, oh hey look, done, and they just come down and take our stuff and leave, and then we're out everything and we did all the work and they got all the stuff.
I raise you your own question. How the hell are they gonna get this out of the hole? And secondly, look at me! I'm a dwarf!
They could get it out of the hole the same way we eventually will get it out of the hole. But really, do we want to risk putting all of our good stuff in a pile for other people to take? I don't. I think we should keep it with us. And I raised my hand kind of like a all in favor.
Abasi grabs out of the chariot and goes, "You're staying with me until we're free from here. It's gonna be so good. I'm gonna ride you through the holes."
That sounds fun. See, I'm on board with that.
I spend the next 8 hours creating ramps to ride the chariot into the door we haven't opened.
I help you.
Drinks himself in.
Donkor's just still
through the door?
drinking like a portion of his
It will
force.
not fit through the door.
So you're basically setting up to ramp so you could crash the chariot 5 feet into a wall.
Yeah.
That sounds really actually quite fun.
And it does.
Yeah, that's one way to get it apart, I guess, is by crashing it.
Donkor's right. Like, not only will it be fun,
Oh,
but it will achieve our goals.
You see, Donkor, that means you're on our side. Pony up, because you've got to hitch this to something.
I'm going to just relax right here while you guys make fools of yourself.
Gator form! Gator form! Gator form!
Pilakka is doing nothing but loudly.
Oh my god!
I don't think you know what actually that entails.
Pilakka is just loudly sipping this entire time, just like contributing nothing.
Oh, that I am Abasi, and this is Osirian Jackass.
Basically, I just want to make sure that we're not setting ourselves up for other people to take our crap. I mean, stuff.
No, you're right. Most of it is crap. But if we leave the giant gator with it, who's gonna touch it?
We're not gonna leave our crap.
Stay.
He's not a gator currently. He has a name.
You wouldn't even know.
transform.
Abasi.
Look, all I'm saying is that Donkor seems really interested in pulling my chariot through the streets.
Listen, had I not tried to save your life, I'd be rich right now. And you would have been none the wiser that I was I guess what you call a gator person.
There has to be a nicer way to say, like, how would you prefer, like, can we just call him Donkor or maybe Encore?
What?
Because that's what that other guy called. I don't know.
How no, I get it's Encore because he's got multiple rows of teeth.
You need to get, like, I can start describing you by physical attributes if that makes you feel comfortable.
Yeah, blind.
Can you describe me by a physical attribute that might be broken right now?
I think I'm gonna have to come up with a new nickname for you. But don't we have to, like, go somewhere? Like, what? Why are okay? Bird needs to sleep. Our new friend
right.
is having wine, which.
I'm already passed out.
Okay. Which is also smart. And I'm not being very quiet at all. So if you're like,
We're just like yelling at each other about a chariot in the middle of the room while they're sleeping.
I vote. Oh, there's not enough. We don't have a quorum. Can we just decide where we're going next? It doesn't have to involve the chariot. I want to do things.
Abasi just slowly turns and points down the hallway and goes, "There is exactly one door we haven't been in."
So I'm gonna.
There's exactly one door that we know of. So
towards that door.
Now, Abasi and everybody else, when he says there's at least one door that we haven't been in, exactly one door we haven't been in. This is a tomb, and you haven't found a body.
That's not entirely true. A body and 2 dead cats.
Right, I don't
think repurposed bodies.
I don't think that was Akintepe chilling before, at the bottom of the hole.
He started the tomb before he died, and he wanted to check it out and fell. And I went, well, fuck it.
I'm down here. Damn it.
He's in it now.
Oh, fuck it.
Somebody went to get cigarettes and never came back.
They just sealed it off and went, he's in it. This is his job.
As my final pharaoh wish, I want you to turn me into 3 little creepy dudes and guard my tomb.
Definitely a pharaoh's
we
wish.
figured out the entire secret of Akintepe's tomb. They turned him into children's dolls and barbecued his cats. It was a fucked up time.
Isn't that
Turn him a bunch of little fetishes.
A lot of Toy Story.
Poor Akintepe.
So
this is how Toy Story started. They cut a man up and put him into kids' toys.
Wait, is the body Sid though?
Yes! We're in, yes, and that's
No,
how
you can't just kill him because he's a maniac.
It's little bits of other people.
That's how they have souls.
You've got a friend in me. Okay, so let's
2 or 3.
So we're gonna.
I'm talking literally.
The darkest timeline. We have gone too far.
I'm gonna quote Sophia in here with plot progression 0.5%.
I'm trying to go to the door. When Abasi says something about the door, I say fine, and I'm going to get up and like pretend like I'm fast stomping to the door, but I'm really going pretty friggin' slow. Thanks again, courier. So
just slow walking at you like this, going, yes, where are we going again?
And so I'm gonna go over to the door of the tomb.
Okay.
Be like, this door.
Control your token.
Well, you guys go do that. I'm gonna stay here with a passed out person and that.
Where's the? Is it?
Oh, are we not post rest?
It's where I am.
Guess I'll still They're doing this while we rest.
Yeah, you guys are doing that. Yeah, correct. They're doing this while everybody decides to rest. So
you guys are resting, and I'm arguing about stealing a chariot and checking out doors.
So here, right?
Yes, this particular door.
Okay.
All right. Let's see what.
I'm gonna laugh so hard when we get fucking jumped by something in this.
Oh, so these were. Remember, this area that you're in right now. This was like the foyer of sorts. This is where you saw the guardian cats.
And the family picture.
Correct. And these doors they're not as intensely locked or closed as tightly. You were able to shift to the northern doors just fine. Southern doors are just the same. You can move through these fairly easily.
All right. I am going to look at Abasi, and I'm not.
Oh no, this is getting good.
I'm not gonna look at the door when I open it and just be like, I'm gonna try to open it in some like funny dramatic way, like this door.
As it opens, I'm gonna be like, Akintepe, I'm so sorry, I didn't know I'd come into the wrong tomb. My apologies, I'm just gonna go back my own way. It's her idea anyway.
Last time I got cocky about opening a door, I almost got stung to death by a scorpion.
Well, again, wisdom 10, and I'm feeling sassy.
And I'm pretending that there is a mummy standing there, and I have no idea what's there.
So, we're going to shift this over to Neferani. Nef, you were trying to hide what you were doing with this door, or explain to me exactly what you're trying.
So my whole thing was I felt like Abasi was trying to leave, even though he wasn't. But
okay.
So I was like, no, don't take my adventure from me. Everyone's sleeping. This is boring. And I'm just going. I'm like, you mentioned a door? Here's a door. I'm going to open it.
Go for it. Okay, so do you pull the door open?
Uh-huh.
All right. As you pull said door open, it reveals unto you a short staircase leading downward. South and down.
South, down, and down. Okay.
To move to the next.
We're going to do what they say can't be done.
Just split the party while they're sleeping?
I am going to...
TPK.
I'm not gonna go, I'm not gonna breach the entirety of the door.
Okay.
But I am gonna, like be like, since
Okay.
nothing came at me.
Give me perception.
Anything other than okay.
Yeah, this short hallway looks just fine. You don't believe that they're going to trap like 5 or 6 steps. It's more likely that they would trap the door itself as opposed to the steps. But as far as you can tell, it looks just fine.
Abasi, I opened the door. Would you like to come, or should we wait? Or Donkor's still awake, right? Right. Okay.
You watched us leave.
Hold on. So Bird Lady is sipping tea. Are you? Well, no. Bird Lady's just sipping tea, right? Ryu's the only one who's sleeping, right?
Mm-hmm. Xanjafar
Right.
is sleeping.
So far, okay. I opened the door.
That's nobody else ever said that a bossy scarabhide is more scaredy cat than an actual scaredy cat. I'll show you. You think I won't?
I didn't say anything about thinking you won't. This isn't like a, what do they call it? I heard at the bar, like a pissing contest.
And I'll show you who's got the stronger stream.
Abasi, do you swing the door open?
I'm gonna have a look at the door first, and if I can determine that there's nothing wrong with it, then yes, I'm gonna push the door open.
It looks good.
All right, well, we're getting ourselves killed today.
All right, Abasi peers over the door quickly, but before you can even ask a question, he pulls it open immediately, and it reveals unto you the next room. I'll give you some descriptors here. It's a small room, mind you, but before you, a chamber. A massive mirror stretching across the southern wall of this chamber, flanked by 2 statues. The statue to the east depicts a tall, gaunt woman in a flowing hooded gown, holding an hourglass. The figure to the west is that of a jackal-headed man carrying a scepter or staff in his hand. Stone double doors, standing slightly ajar, lead to the east and to the west. A third set of double doors exits the room to the north that you've just come through. Torch holders, sculpted in the shape of bird skulls, are built in each corner, and a thin layer of dust covers every surface.
So does my spending a shit ton of time in tombs tell me anything about those statues being related to deities?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Are you hoping to know exactly which deity?
Yeah, I wanted to know because usually in somebody's tomb, you'll find deities attached to what kind of person they were and who they served on top of the fact that it's a tomb. And if it's something fucking horrendous and evil, then we're in for a bad time.
Okay, do you enter the room? I'm mostly curious because you are going to get some details, but when you enter, you'll get to see exactly what they mostly are.
I mean, I guess I've got the base details, so I'll have a look around as I'm walking in.
Yeah, okay.
To make sure I'm not wandering into a trap. I'm not exactly one of the rogues, but I've also spent time in tombs, and I'm not. Okay. Well, I'm blind, but I'm not an idiot.
I'll give me a perception. Excuse me. Actually, give me a knowledge, religion, then a perception in that order.
Okie dokie. Knowledge, religion, and perception.
Okay. All right. So the eastern statue, the woman, the gaunt framed woman, this is Pharasma. This is a depiction of her. Pharasma is, well, the goddess of pretty much the undead, making sure that those that are dead stay dead. It's been depicted. Everybody knows this in Wati. You are also aware of this, Abasi. Again, that is Pharasma. The other god, you're not so sure. Even with your knowledge of the gods, this one isn't one that you paid most focus to. You can't really imagine that the depiction of a jackal's head is very much a good thing, though. However, your perception, you see the jackal-headed man. In the middle, you can see Akentepi in the mirror. And on the right, you see Pharasma.
Akentepi's in the mirror?
Yes, Akentepi is in the mirror.
What is this mirror? Is he behind me?
Do you pan around and look?
Yeah.
When you pan around and look, Akentepi isn't behind you. But when you pull back and look to the mirror again, standing where you are is a very concerned Akentepi.
So I look like him in the mirror.
Yes. When you move your hand, his hand also comes out. It mimics yours.
Well, that's different. Punch the mirror? No.
Kiss
no.
it.
I'm
Neferani, are you
on
seeing?
the stairs. I can just see him like moving hands and.
He is. He's borderline doing interpretive dance at this point.
Okay.
The crane.
When I see that, I'm gonna yell behind me, "We're going in!" And I'm just gonna come downstairs too.
Sure. The moment that you step into the room, you can see Akentepi. And to your left now is Abasi, but he's not in the mirror. However, you're not in the mirror either. It's just Akentepi.
Try to like juke him out.
Can I tell it's a mirror, or like, is it clear it's a mirror, or is there some confusion? Like, might it be, like, might I feel like I'm looking at Akentepi, or is it clearly like a reflection of what I see? Just I'm not in it, and Abasi's not in it, but Akentepi is.
While you're determining this, can I get a fortitude save from Abasi, please?
Oh no. Okay.
And he has all the gold on him?
I'm gonna re-roll that. Yeah.
Okay, all right, all right.
It's not a whole lot better, but it is better.
All right. You felt something for a moment. A scratch over the skin, writhing up your hand just over your forearm, but nothing ever came of it. Just a scratch. Neferani, you're focusing. You keep looking back, and then looking back to the mirror. And what were you doing exactly?
That basically, like I'm trying to figure out like what the hell I'm seeing. Like, is this like, do I know immediately that it's a mirror? Do I think it's a mirror? Do I, like I get it. Like I walk in and I see.
I mean, you're aware that it's a mirror. It's mirroring your exact movements. The problem is it's not showing you.
Right.
It's showing Akentepi himself. You've seen mirrors at least in the bazaar itself. Do you do any, like, are you moving up to touch it? Are you trying to, like, do you want to look behind it to see if it's like a false room or anything, or what?
Yeah,
What would you try?
I'm gonna like reach forward.
Okay. Do you move slowly? I mean, slower than what you are forced to?
Yeah, I'm not gonna be like. It's gonna be more like kind of deliberate, like.
Sure, very careful. Concerned.
Yeah, like what is this?
Like, and Abasi is not stopping or slowing her because he's suddenly concerned about what the fuck he just felt.
Yeah.
Because this whole room's got him on edge.
As you
so he's staring at his own. Yeah.
To move, you can see Akentepi also move, almost very light-footed, like you would, though his pace matches yours. And as your hand sort of extends out, do you touch the mirror, the frame, the wall, the statue? What are you trying to do? And if you could, please move your token.
Okay, and this is the mirror up here, right?
Yes, right. Yep, that's it.
Okay, so I'm gonna get close to it.
Okay.
And I'm going to, open up my hand with the rock in it and see if he has the rock. See if the rock is in the hand in the reflection.
It is.
Okay, I'm gonna drop it.
When you drop it, you can see it fall, and as it passes by the mirror itself, you feel it return to your other hand.
Okay. Does it return to the other hand of the reflection?
Do you open your hand?
Yes.
When you open your hand, it's there in the other palm.
And it's in mine and in the reflection. Okay. Damn it. It's in character. Dang. I should have said dang it. I'm gonna reach out with the other hand then and kind of touch the mirror.
It's bizarre at first. When you reach out and touch the mirror, you feel heat. And when you move, it doesn't seem to get any hotter until your hand stays. You get the sense like there's someone on the other side of the mirror. I need a fortitude save, Neferani. Okay. Neferani, would you like to reroll?
Yes.
Okay. You still technically have 2 more rerolls.
I do. I'm gonna do one more.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
That's significantly better.
Oh, okay. Ooh, I did close my eyes. I didn't even look that time.
You felt a tickle run over the knuckle of your front paw. Your hand spreads out, and you visibly see the hair raise on the back of your palm. But it stops there.
You guys are boned.
Glad I'm taking a nap.
Abasi,
Yes.
she's in the way of Akentepe. You can no longer see yourself because Neferani is standing there. It is the most curious event. Most mirrors that you see, while you don't see them very often, you're used to seeing this surly, smaller, I guess, more bearded individual.
What you saying? I'm goddamn beautiful.
I am in fact. But now Neferani stands in your way. Do you move to the door? Do you just ignore it?
Is there any compulsion of any kind that I'm feeling to see myself in the mirror again?
You tell me. Does Abasi feel it? Like, do you feel like you want to investigate this further? Your compulsion here is totally self-derived.
Okay. Which means I'm not under any sort of magical compulsion, which is what I was reaching for there.
Correct.
I have no super interest in seeing myself as him again, as obviously she is seeing the same thing, or she wouldn't be freaking out so heavily over a mirror like I was.
I'm a cat.
Yeah, but if you saw a mirror, I think you'd have a different reaction to seeing a mirror that is of somebody else. I'm willing to wager you're seeing what I'm seeing. And seeing as I'm not, or didn't see you when you walked up next to me, that tells me something's wrong. I don't know who the jackal-headed god is, but I know that the other one is the god of graves. And the person who's supposed to be dead is standing in a mirror in front of us. I'm not going to get superstitious and say it's a possession tactic. It just could be a really cool piece of magical technology, but I've never heard of or seen it before. So I want to check out the statue of the goddess that I understand.
Okay, that would be the woman. What exactly
Yes.
are you trying to determine about this statue? Also, do either of you have survival?
I have a lot of survival.
Would you please make some survival checks?
I don't.
Very good. Abasi, as you're walking, your eyes train off of the mirror in the statue, and you kind of look down. You've been very careful about how you've moved about this place thus far, and as such, you continue, watching where you step in case there is a depression, if there is a rise in the stone. And just as you're about to take your first step, you notice something. It's faint, but you're able to pick it up. There's a break in the dust. This fine layer of dust that coats absolutely everything. There is a break. And though you take a step, your eyes follow it. Tracks. Not humanoid.
Okay, I'm going to draw my gear real quick. The new gear.
Okay.
And I'm going to point to the tracks with the Kopesh. The Neferani. We're not alone.
The tracks lead to the eastern door, which would be technically on your character's left, Abasi.
So closest to where I'm actually at right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
You notice that the door itself is slightly ajar.
Well, I'm going to point for the tracks of the door with the sword and see if I can get her attention.
Neferani, you've had your hand here now for how long would you say?
is it hot enough? Like, you said it gets hotter, but does it reach like a static temperature, or
It does.
continue?
It
Okay.
feels skin temperature.
Okay, warm like a being.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say about, I'm trying to think, like maybe 45 seconds, a minute.
Okay, all right. I'll take another fortitude save then.
Kind of mesmerized.
Very good.
Ooh!
Not even a tickle at this point. You just seem to shrug it off as if it's nothing.
So you're gonna point at the door, and are you gonna say my name, or are you gonna?
I did. Yeah, no, I let you know we weren't alone, and I pointed at the tracks and the door.
When Abasi does that, I'll just kind of snap out of my self-imposed like focus. What? 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 We should probably get them.
You know, I don't like the bird as much health, but I prefer a bit safer with a big croco boy and that weird ass native behind me.
Or maybe go back and wait for my bird friend to wake up. Our bird friend, I guess. But more my friend. We're getting real close to the.
Oh, I know the two of you are BFFs, I'm sure. What I'm worried about is if there is something living and moving down here, it can come to where we are if we're not ready for it.
That's true, but now we know it's there, so won't we be ready for it? Or at least more ready for it? Like, won't we be better if there's 5 of us? Hear me out. And if there's 2 of us?
Oh, that depends. What is it? How big is it? And do you think we can get the jump on it?
I'm gonna turn around and start to... Like, I'm sorry. Let me
sneak away.
I'm not gonna turn around. I'm just gonna start like slowly like backstepping. Like I have kind of realized that maybe I should have waited for more than one person to come with me in my little watch this adventure.
Okay. As you back away, Akentepe matches your step. You notice, faintly, in your own empathy, you aren't sure if it's on your face or if it's on his, but he begins to frown. He seems saddened by you leaving.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I'm gonna take a step forward again.
It returns to a neutral face.
I'm gonna take another step forward.
Oh, good Lord, what are you doing now?
Hold on, he looks sad.
What do you mean he looks sad? That's another man in a mirror looking at you.
I'm looking at the man in the mirror.
Thank you, Bob. So I'm gonna go back to where I was and see how sorry about the ping. It's like the neutral expression. Like, does it ever get a little bit happy?
It seems to. There's some slight upturns at the face. You see that the brow sort of softens, and that there is this this rise in the cheeks, but not quite a full smile.
All right, I'm gonna smile like, hi.
I'm gonna draw one of my javelins while she's doing this.
It waves back.
But is it me waving?
It is you waving.
Okay, damn it. I'm gonna frown.
It frowns.
Oh. So I'm gonna keep my smile and step back again.
Okay.
And see what happens.
His face falls neutral. And then as you near Abasi, it starts to frown again. The brows tighten. They furrow.
I figured it out. He's racist against dwarves.
Who let a pomade into my grave? Again. Damn it. The sign clearly says, this ride you have to at least be 4 feet tall to get on.
Every time.
Pomades are only for being ground up into tiki sausage and turned into little fetishes.
Turned into fetishes.
Yeah.
So,
Oh boy.
All right, I'm gonna what am I gonna do here? Hold on. I'm thinking. We're both thinking.
What's happening back here? While Neferani and Abasi are doing their thing, I want to know what's happening back here at camp. Donkor, Xanjafar, and Pilakka. They've been gone now, maybe 5 minutes, 6 minutes best.
I think at this point, Donkor is probably nodding off. Like he is nodding.
Would Donkor be able to sleep with the random ramblings and the yelling from probably 30 or 40 feet away?
Probably. He did grow up in a merchant's tent, so his subtle talking and stuff like that isn't uncommon for him.
Pilakka, what about you?
Pilakka is just focused on rejuvenating and recuperating her magical capabilities, because without them, she's pretty defenseless.
Okay. All right, so then you three have just entered into rest mode. Xanjafar, you're in rest mode. For every 8 hours that you take, you will remove 1 point of Constitution damage. So that really only keenly applies to Donkor in this situation.
Yeah. How much are you down? Like
4.
I was down 4, yeah.
Whoa.
It's substantial.
Yeah.
Because that con like directly affects his not only his hit points but his fortitude saves and everything else, what have you.
Right.
So
one is better than nothing.
Yeah.
Is there anything to my knowledge that I could do to speed up his healing process? I don't have anything that specifically cures poisons.
You used to be able to. Pilakka, you used to be able to. If you were still in your home tethered to the ley line, you would be able to break anything with the spells that were at your fingertips.
Sure.
But you know that you're at a fraction of your power.
Sure. So at this point, she keeps like looking over at him and being like, "What is that spell?" And she just can't remember. Sorry, buddy. It's all fragments.
Okay. So then the 3 of you are going to be resting. Then I'm going to pass this back. You guys can chime in any time, and if something happens causing excess noise, then I'll give you guys an opportunity to hear it.
Okay.
Since you're not quite, like, I'll say that Xanjafar is likely asleep. Your save is going to be more difficult. Donkor is starting to nod off. Pilakka is, like, eyeing the situation. You will have an easier time hearing what's going on.
Yeah, I'm like deep out.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing I would like to do is have, whenever he's like not assisting me directly, I would like to have Gidok just sort of watching, kind of scampering towards the room just to the south, where he can just kind of like scan the room and then return back to me.
Okay. How often will you have him do this? Just once or twice, or regularly?
No, regularly. I would say every like 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes.
Do you give
Pretty
him
regular
additional details about like if they return and they shut the door?
No, just to be on the lookout for anything immediately alarming that he would like instinctively warn me about.
Sure. And he moves out, roams, doesn't really find anything, reports back, at least until further doors open, but no, nothing's going to happen thus far.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's, yeah.
Abasi, Neferani. Neferani's doing this forward and backward dance, trying to determine what's happening with this character. Abasi, you find it interesting when she's next to you, she doesn't cast an image. There is no mirror response. Just yours.
Yep. I have already kind of figured that she's just seeing what I'm seeing, because she didn't cast an image, but she's really intensely interested in this mirror and clearly seeing something.
Yes.
And she just waved and said hi to it. So I can kind of guess that she might be seeing him as well in the mirror.
Sure.
And I'm getting more and more suspicious of everything that's going on, because there are footprints in a tomb that was sealed when we got here. That means it's been sealed for a long time. Whatever made those footprints either burrowed in from outside or isn't alive.
That's safe. Yeah.
And we've already fought fetishes and...
Give me do you have knowledge of nature by chance?
You might be one of the ones I don't have trained, but I can try it.
You can try, yeah. You might be able to determine what they are based off of your rolls. Not when you critical fail.
Scarabs.
It's legged. It's got feet.
It's got feet. Can I try figuring out what that other statue is again?
Sure, now that you're up close, go ahead and give me another religion. Negative, sir. It's not going to be enough.
Well, I have a feeling that danger lurks here. And I don't trust this mirror at all anymore.
Okay. That's fair. Neferani, what do you do while Abasi is making these determinations?
I am going to... so I think I'm going to try to cast Distraction.
Okay.
I think. I'm trying to figure out if that would make sense. Because she thinks that this is magic. So I'm gonna, because it's can use my performance to counter magic effects that depend on sight.
All right.
That is if it's appropriate for it, but I mean, she would probably try it just because, you know, she doesn't do a lot with her magic yet. And she's like, you know what I learned? It might work. Yes.
And you pull forward your bongos, yes? And you begin to perform?
Yeah.
Okay. What you find is interesting is that when you pull your side bag or whatever your bongos are kind of tethered to, you move them to the front of your person. So does Akintepi. He also has bongos.
So you're a man of fine taste.
Right. So I see that.
I see you are also a man of culture.
Right.
Neferani, the devil went down to Georgia. You're gonna have to play him for the golden bongos.
Wait, hold on. That didn't work. I don't have to roll anything for that, right? I just...
Yeah, you just use your performance, in this case, to counter magical effects that rely on your sight. So you can... Ooh, this is tricky. This is very tricky. So, Neferani, you pull forward your bongos and you start to cast a distraction. For the viewer's sake and for Abasi, what does this like really look like? Do you have a particular pattern, a rhythm, or is this all just kind of immediate for you?
I'm gonna so I'm gonna pull them forward, and I imagine they're kind of on a like kind of a leather tether type deal. Almost it sounds almost like they're like a cigarette tray, but not really, more like on the side.
Okay.
I don't want it. I think it would look just dopey like that. So more like where I could, if I wanted to play them while they're attached to me, I can, right? Almost like the drums, like at like the Renaissance Fair when the guys like bring it over and start, but it's two.
All right.
And I just start playing something kind of low and rhythmic and not very aggressive, just kind of like lightly tapping.
Okay. There is a rhythm that begins to fill the room, Abasi. It at first is very low, but the reverberation off of the sandstone walls, it is keen at letting the sound swell in here. And it's enough so. Your distraction, it's odd. It's odd how this works. As you cast this spell, this supernatural ability, courtesy of your class, you're targeting the mirror. But in turn, you're sort of targeting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Abasi, you're watching, and you don't really know what's going on, but Neferani's standing incredibly still. The rhythmic vibration is coming from her, but she's standing still. She's kind of captured.
I'm going to plant my javelin in the ground and make sure I've got my Kopesh in hand again. I'm keeping my eye on this door because I know something is in there. I don't know when it went, but judging from what I've seen, it has not come out.
Right.
Now, that tunnel could lead forever. It could lead into a massive underground complex for all I know, but I know it's not it's not safe. That said, I don't know that this isn't dangerous. And I don't know that she's not getting herself into trouble because nothing was communicated to me about what she was doing. But, well, I've been with Neferani long enough to know that she's a little bit all over the place and easily excitable. She doesn't strike Abasi as somebody who is inherently stupid. Just excitable.
Yes.
So if she's going to start playing music knowing that we may be under attack, he's willing to back her up in what she's doing. So he's going to make sure he has his shield and his Kopesh should he need to get in between her and something quickly. Ready to go. He had been trying to figure out how to build either an early warning system or a trap, but at this point, there's no time for any of that.
Okay. So you said that you set your shield down?
No, I put one of my javelins in the ground because I had taken it out in case I needed to throw it at the mirror.
All right.
So it's just next to me sticking out of the ground, and I have the Kopesh and the shield back, and I'm looking between the door that I'm leaning by, her and the mirror, to make sure that nothing in those 3 areas gets the jump on me.
Nothing happens, as far as you can tell. You watch for how long? 10, 15, 20 seconds? A minute? 5 minutes?
I'm going to watch until she makes a different move or something happens.
Nothing happens. There is no startle or response from the room that you're standing closest to. Neferani never shakes. There is just a slight twitch in her ear from time to time, but you don't really pick up on anything. She is, well, distracted.
Neferani? Are you in there?
Neferani, you hear it, and you can respond, but would you? Will you?
Not right away. No, I'm intent on, because in my mind, from what I see, so hold on. I see myself playing the drums, and I see my reflection, who is not my reflection, playing the drums back.
Yes.
Do I feel as if like what I'm doing has any effect?
You don't. You don't. At this point, you are playing for him, and he is in turn playing for you. He's matching your skill, your speed, your talent.
You're slowly losing a fight against a mirror.
I don't know that.
You're slowly drawing a fight against a mirror.
Neferani, give me a will save.
Me?
Yeah. You realize that you've known at this point that you're playing for a mirror, and your distraction is falling unto you. You realize that you have been distracting yourself for the length of time that you've been playing. Abasi is still questioning you, and you haven't responded to him. Okay. But your focus is still there. Something is pulling you back. You realize, you recognize your own talent, your latent ability of distraction to goad and guide the masses. This is your action here.
So do I feel compelled to continue to play or no?
Now you managed to resist the urge. Yeah, it's fine. If you want to continue playing, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, no, I'll stop. I'm gonna keep the bongos out, but I'm gonna stop and kind of turn to Abasi and say, what did you see just then?
Well, you walked up to the mirror. You said hi, so I'm willing to bet you're not saying ye, because I didn't see me.
Who do you see right now?
Well, do I know that that's who that is? I mean, we've seen pictures of him, right?
Yeah, you've seen more than anything at that. You are carrying his shield and sword.
Look at his shit and be like, Akentepe, I think?
Yes. So, who did you see? Did you still see Akentepe like a second ago?
He's standing where I'm standing?
No, he's standing where I'm standing.
I bet if the bird were to cast Detect Magic, we'd find out a lot more about that mirror real quick.
Can I cast a Detect Magic?
You might be able to. That might be in your kit.
I don't have it as a spell.
Yeah, I don't
it's
necessarily
a cantrip, at least for me.
Yeah, I mean, I have cantrips.
I do know bards have a much more limited spell list.
Spells known. Oh, no, you just switched to my...
Just a lot of spamming prestidigitation in every room.
No, you did not take those particular spells. No. Some neat ones, but not quite what you were hoping for.
All right, so I will say... So, Abasi, hold on. Can you... Is he smiling at you like a little? Is he still smiling at me? Or like mouth up, like not neutral?
It seems like an upturned mild grin. It's not sad or neutral.
Right, like more like the tight like.
Yeah.
Okay. Is he smiling at you? Does he look angry? Like what like mood? What are you seeing?
From
I'm
where you're
at neutral
standing,
distance, aren't I?
it seems sort of sour. Not like upset, but more so like it's in less favor.
I think he's annoyed that I have his toys.
So I have an idea. Will you, what happens to his face when you like remember when I was like trying to leave and then I came back and then I tried to leave and it was like dancing with the mirror? Can you dance with the mirror? Just see if he smiles or frowns, or does he look happy that you're leaving?
I take a couple of steps back.
The stern, sour look turns to a glowering. The eyes tighten.
You know, he's pretty mad now that I'm trying to leave.
Come back! Come back! Come back!
Let me come back. You got the feeling if the creepy.
Hold on. Well, before he comes all the way back, I look in the mirror. What does he look like to me when Abasi goes away?
Same.
Okay.
No different.
So he looked mad when you went away? Because he didn't look mad to me. He was still like.
Well, no, he looked pretty mad. And honestly, if a mirror is pissed off at me that I'm leaving, but not that I'm coming, I start to get a little worried in this undisturbed tomb that has been mildly disturbed. That maybe he wants to take me skin.
That's a big jump. I feel like you're assuming.
Well, he's currently taking my appearance, and I would assume yours. How is it such a huge leap?
Is he taking our appearance, or are we taking his?
Well, I don't know, but he seems pretty happy that we're getting close to the big box that he's in.
Well, we should go in there. We should tell them.
It's about this time that you say that you hear a skittering behind you. You hear this footfall. It's very, very faint, but it's something that you've heard previously. When you turn, when you return, Gidok is quickly running down the steps. He immediately stops in the middle of the room and sits up on his back two legs and just looks at the mirror. He shambles a little to the left, and then a little to the right.
He sees it too!
I don't know if that's a good sign or a really, really horrible, foreboding feeling just building up inside of me.
Gidok slowly takes a few steps back, and then turns and bolts out of the room.
It might be a bad sign that the raccoon ran before we did.
Well, but that tells us more information, right? Right? Because if the raccoon left after seeing something different and nothing bad happened, we might be able to go and get them.
Well, getting them isn't what I'm super worried about. You see this thing right here? I point down at the sand. Clearly has legs and is big enough to make indents in the sand.
I have legs.
Yeah, but the little fetishes that gouged out my eye, they wouldn't have done that.
Okay, but we killed them.
That means...
I am okay. The raccoon came in. He left. All is well. I'm going to turn to the mirror and go, I'll be right back. Don't be upset. I won't leave you.
Give me a fortitude save.
I'm going to keep it.
Okay. Neferani, when you slap on the glass...
Oh, no, I didn't touch the... I was just like...
Oh.
Am I that close? I was like just gesticulating. Like
oh,
you know,
okay.
It's the kids thing. Like,
wait!
Be right back.
Wait. Okay, all right.
Okay. Yeah, no, I just...
Akintepi does that. He matches you in that when you do that.
Okay. I mean, I could have mistakenly hit the glass. I don't know. It's up to... I don't
Your call, really. If you would have touched it, I mean, you've touched it previously. If you didn't think anything was going to happen at it, then you tell me.
Yeah, no, I wasn't intentionally trying to like slap the glass. I was just like, no, we'll be right back. It's okay.
Sure. Okay.
Then then I'm gonna I'm still gonna walk backwards. But
all right.
gonna go. You can stay here. Maybe keep him company.
As your heel, as you're saying that you can stay here, you can keep him, your heel touches the entry of the room, and Akintepe's arm stretches out. It's almost trying to grab at the mirror. Give me a perception, Neferani.
Oh.
Your eyes focus on the hand. Which one? You know that your arm didn't come up. Without fail. But where his arm outstretched, you see his fingerprints are smashed into the glass of the mirror like it's a window.
Does he look sad?
Noticeably, yes.
Oh.
I'm gonna go back over and put my hand where his hand is.
Okay.
Because I feel very bad.
She quickly walks back into the room, placing her hand on the mirror. Go ahead.
Yes. As I do that,
I don't know her well enough to stop her.
As I pass Abasi, who I'm assuming is not stopping me, I'm going to say, you go get them. I think, I feel bad. Little buddy needs me.
All right.
I'm taken aback at least long enough for her to have reached and touched the mirror before I formulate a response.
Do you want to make another fortitude save, or do you want to use your previous?
Let's just use my previous.
Okay. All right. It is a failed fortitude save.
Okay.
The moment that your hand touches his in the glass, his smile starkens. It sharpens intensely so. And his mouth moves. No words come out. You hear nothing. But then a voice over your shoulder, just next to your ear, says, "Thief." You feel this tickle writhe down your hand, past your elbow, up your arm, over your chest, and up to your chin, your jaw. And then you feel it, a burning, a searing sensation over your forehead. Take 1 point of damage.
Do you make noise or react when this happens?
Oh, hell yes.
Because go for it.
So basically I do this and it hits me and I hear like, okay. No, I was trying to help you. You look sad.
I'm going to strike the mirror.
Okay, go ahead. Make an attack. I just need to make sure you don't critically fail here. And you critically failed. Oh my god.
Wow.
Can I wait? This is one of those moments.
One more?
This is definitely one of those moments. Because you're going to get a critical fail chart. I'm going to lose another eye, and Neferani's going to lose an arm. Okay. And that's how this goes down.
All right, sure.
With my face.
Abasi, when your blade, how do describe to me? Tell me how you explain this. Like, how are you doing this? Explain to me how you're doing it.
Based on the location of our character pips, she would be facing the mirror and approaching it.
Yeah.
So I would be on her left-hand side behind her.
Yes.
And which arm did you raise? Your left or your right?
Her left.
Are you
my left?
You're left-handed or left-handed cat. So you put this arm up and touch it, and then I hear you scream that you were trying to help and you're not moving, but clearly you're in pain. So I'm gonna come over that shoulder and just swing the blade at the mirror.
Sure. You swing over shoulder, and as your blade connects with what you believe to be the mirror and Akintepe at the same time, there is a pang. The glass reverberates. Abasi, take 10 points of slashing damage.
Ooh.
Hold on. Neferani, take 10 points of slashing damage.
What the?
There is a slice from shoulder across body as the blade was brought down. Both of you can visibly see and feel this. The blood begins to trickle through your clothing. Do you let out a yell, a scream, anything?
Oh, yes.
I'm going to try and pull her away from the mirror. As a frontliner and a paladin, I've taken... I mean, I just took a hit heftier than this in a different room.
Sure, yeah.
So my goal now as the defender is to get her away from the problem and back towards the party.
I need you to give me a fortitude save as you've connected with a mirror. Even with an inanimate object. Okay, that's an even or an odd. Would you like to roll for better?
I've only got one reroll left.
Or do you just want to take whatever it is?
What? Of course you haven't made any today, so I can't pretend to fuck the system.
Flip a coin.
90% of the rolls today have been odd. Knowing my luck, we'll go with even.
Okay.
Do it.
Even or odd in your favor? You've said even. Even in his favor. It's odd.
Odd.
You're going to take 1 point of lethal damage as the same tickle reverberates up from your blade into the palm, past your palm, up your arm, and the same burn begins to stifle overhead. A slicing sensation. The sweat of your brow kind of soaks into these fresh wounds. When you pull her away from it, dropping the Kopesh, still holding onto the shield, and moving her away, you can both feel this intense pain. One, across your chest, which for Neferani is a significant amount of damage. I need a perception from both of you.
Neferani's in too much pain.
Yes, she is. Abasi. As you pull her away, there is a slight breeze from your body just kind of like hitting hers and pulling her back. And when her head kind of pulls backward, you see that there's a loose flitting of hair that seems to fall from her forehead. The blood seems to pour down her snout, if you will. And you can see, carved into her forehead, in ancient Osirian, it says thief.
So me too, probably.
Well, Neferani is wincing in too much pain, clutching onto her freshly opened wound across chest. Perceptions, please, from the other three of you.
Okay.
Oh, thank God!
Donkor. A scream. Borderline a cat scream. Right? Like stepping on the tail by accident. This shrill pitch just cacophonously roars off the walls. It doesn't seem to startle Xanjafar at all. And Pilakka shakes but doesn't quite stir. It's in this moment that your eyes immediately open. Neferani is screaming. It is feminine. Pilakka still remains. Do you charge immediately to what's happened?
Donkor is going to definitely run towards where the scream is going to where the scream came from. So he's going to begin to run to the other room.
When you bolt through the rooms, hitting the steps up and then back down to where they are right now, you'll see both of them. What's the situation like here? Did you pull her to the ground or just away in general?
I wanted to pull her back and then get between her and the mirror and maybe even her, the mirror, and this other door.
Donkor, when you show up in the room, you can see visibly that they're both cut. Horizontally, kind of corner, shoulder to the hip slice. A large slashing weapon. Something struck them both. Substantially her more so. She was wearing less armor. She's bleeding pretty viciously so. There's also blood pouring from her forehead. Not in full-on faucet, but like a drip and stripping down her snout. Abasi has some blood that is pooling up around the headband of the hat that he wears.
I'm gonna send Bob a quick message.
I imagine it's like when the back to our weird Game of Thrones conversation before. Is it like when spoilers, Loras Tyrell gets his mark, like, and it just is like slowly like dripping on his okay.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Blood everywhere.
Yeah. When you move in, what do you do exactly here, Donkor? Now that you see this,
Donkor is definitely going to take a quick moment to assess the situation. He's going to see that Neferani has this clear gash. in what would be like in her frontal area. He'd look towards Abasi. You didn't describe to me Abasi's wound?
Abasi's is similar, but his is more so. It's just past the armor, right? Like it can only do so much before he starts bleeding from it. So in this case, he did break past his own armor. It was enough so that it probably did some kind of like bashing to him. The blood is mostly coming from his forehead, however. But something else that you see in the room, aside from the statues, is Akintepi. He's peering at you from a mirror. You don't see them at all. It borderline looks like it is potentially a hallway, a door, a corridor. But he stands at the opposite end of it. He's clutching whatever you have in your hands at the time. If nothing, then there's nothing in his hands.
Yeah, there'd be nothing.
But he stands concerned, looking directly at you.
Okay, Donkor just take note of this, but he's too busy trying to look towards Neferani and Abasi. So what he'll do is I'm assuming they're like in the mid portion of the room where their tokens are.
Where their tokens are. That is correct.
So he'll immediately go to Neferani, and before even speaking a word, he'll take out. Let's see. He'll take out what's left of like the blanket that he had earlier that he used on his hand, and try to heal Neferani.
Okay. All right. It looks pretty good, especially if she's going to allow you to. Donkor arrives with some strips of blanket itself, and he's trying to kind of bind the wound. He's tying this across your body, sort of catty-corner, going against the grain itself. This is something that's going to take time to heal, definitely.
Okay.
What are you guys? Help me here. Immerse me in this. Are you, Neferani? Are you concerned? Are you screaming? Are you scared? What is Abasi doing?
I'm as angry as I am in pain.
This mirror, I wanted to be his friend, that asshole!
Seriously, I am probably repeating, or like, as I was just trying to help you.
Neferani, for you, this is different, right? You didn't see him with a blade. He didn't have a blade for you. He was touching your hand. All you heard was thief, and then you saw a blade go over shoulder and strike the glass. And in that moment, it could have bounced off and struck you. This actually could have been Abasi accidentally striking you.
Yeah, to me though, I feel like with the exclamation from the mirror or behind me, and the evil smile that turned up, this is all on the mirror.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
sure.
And I am angry and yes, and bloody.
Okay.
Donkor would still be first of all enamored at the fact that he almost sees nothing in the room, and that they have these kind of wounds. He kind of looks towards Abasi, but he doesn't say anything because he's a little bit on guard.
You see the blood that is kind of building up around the band over his forehead, and when you peer over to Neferani, it says similar, but hers actually reads in Ancient Osirian. Are you versed in Ancient Osiriani?
Me, no.
Okay. It is a foreign text, but it has deliberately been written this way, and it's bleeding. She's not losing additional hit points or anything like that, but you can tell that something scored the hair away before it wrote this.
Okay. He's still going to look towards Abasi to try to see if Abasi will understand his facial features and be like, what's going on, but without
Abasi
saying a word.
Extremely
Abasi,
worse
who's
for wear.
rounded on a door and not the mirror too.
Yeah, he looks extremely worse for wear. Just from looking at him, he's kind of into the ringer, right? While he's decorated and he's very combat ready, he's sort of shaken, right? Like his armor has an indentation across the chest. He's bleeding from the brow. His eye has been tainted. This place is home and hell for Abasi in a lot of ways.
Okay.
The fucking mirror is cursed. Easily don't hit it. And before we all stomp through this room, we're not alone. Something is in there and it's not happy.
Well, Neferani, how do you feel currently? I mean, it looks like you're hurt, obviously, but you know,
Yes!
I just bandaged you in the same way that I'm gonna go get Pilakka, let her know what's actually happening.
I feel terrible. I'm probably not quite that exuberant at this point. I feel terrible.
Are you dying?
I might be.
Then I'll be right back.
I don't know what dying feels like. But it feels a lot like this.
I'm dying if anyone cares.
Well, I will get back to you, but she's definitely a little bit worse for wear than you are. You look like shit, but definitely not as bad as her. I'll be right back.
Like that's
I have 5.
Okay, that's one more. In your
out of 22.
Dude, okay, so that's hardly my fault.
No, this is all my fault. I stuck my face next to dolls and I attacked a mirror.
So the Donkor's gonna quickly run into the next room, back towards Pilakka. He's just gonna ignore Xanjafar.
I can't wait to wake up to this.
Xanjafar is kind of like nestled over in the fetal position, covered up at this point, ignoring just about everything.
Donkor's gonna look at him like he's useless. But he goes quickly over to Pilakka and goes, "Well, listen, that kind of almost dying over there, and we need to,
Pilakka's already
know what's happening."
So much blood.
By the time Donkor even enters, Pilakka's already gathering up her cauldron and staff, and then just kind of wordlessly hobbles past him, and heads into the room, walks up the staircase, and then like kind of a quick assessment of the situation, and then just wordlessly moves over to Abasi. Now, I can't. Have I recovered any spells during this?
No, this has been like 10 minutes.
We didn't go far. We could.
No,
I don't recall if Abasi was targeted by my healing hex or by my Cure Light Wound spell. Does anybody?
I believe
know
it was
that
your Cure Light Wound spell.
I think it was Cure Light Wounds. Yeah.
Okay, because if that's the case, then I think luckily the 2 who just got gravely injured are the 2 that I can heal with my hex.
Now,
so
mechanically out of game, if you rest, you will gain your Constitution score back to your hit points. Not the modifier, the con score. This is super beneficial to early level adventurers, but when you're much higher in level, like if you're a level 14 fighter and you have 185 hit points, plus 14 is not going to make or break you. You're going to be down for a long time. That being said, if you decide now that you take the full rest, it will not only be beneficial to Pilakka, but it will be also beneficial to both of you.
I think we've explored enough as far as Abasi is concerned right now.
Okay.
I was gonna say I have a
Curiosity sated.
I mean,
Want my health back?
not immediately I have because I'm still pretty fucking pissed. But like, if someone mentions it, I will be like, "Oh, light bulb."
Okay. All right. And I think with this is where we're going to take our first break. Okay. This is a good spot for us to take a break. And when we come back, we will deal with, well, what's happening currently. Yeah.
I'm just going to stop their bleeding then.
Oh, sweet. I can set up my trap. Cool.
Yeah, I'm wrapped in a blanket because Donkor was nice to me.
All right, guys, we're going to be gone for about 5 to 8 minutes. Going to get some drinks or some snacks. I would recommend you do the same if you have to bio or into the bathroom, do what you got to do. Kiss your loved ones, and then come back. But make sure somewhere in there you tell some friends and let them know about this so we can come back and enjoy the rest of the session. So, we'll see you in 5 to 8. We'll be back in just a moment, cats. See you then.
Pog.
You brought up an interesting point that you only have 11 max HP. I think we are the 2 highest HP members of the party.
Me?
I have 8.
Xanjafar has more.